Well, back from the new year. Time for new videos. JK, I'm not really that excited about it. I hope you guys had a good new year, and I've seen some comments on my videos. I've tried to reply to those as quickly as I can. I'm going to try to make sure to stay a little bit more on top of things, 2018. From here on out, I'm going to try to upload at least one video a week, starting off with some World Warships. I'm also going to have some other games I'm going to try to do once a week, so hopefully I'll have a video at least every couple days. We'll see how that goes, though. I just started a new position at my job, so hopefully I'll have more time to do videos. Also, I want to get back into the guide series, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this recording for destroyers. So you can see here I've got the Clemson. I'm not a big fan of playing destroyers, mainly because it's just not my style. But as you can see, I got up to at least a tier 4 in destroyers, so I had a decent-ish, mid-level-ish, quote-unquote, I'm doing air quotes, but you can't see me, air quote, destroyer to to give you guys some of the basics of destroyer play. So let's go ahead and get in a battle here. So the big thing with destroyers that you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on at all times is whether or not you've been spotted. You're also going to want to know if, you can. Some people leave their AA guns on. I usually try to turn them off as a destroyer because you don't want to get spotted by your AA gun going off. It kind of ruins your day if you're trying to sneak up on a battleship or something. Besides that, though, delicious water. Besides that, the main thing you want with a destroyer is exactly what's in this picture. You want to sneak up on a big old ship that doesn't see you coming and torpedo the living crap out of it. They got smoke screens, engine boosts, a couple different things as well that they can do there. And I'm hoping I can get in this battle about 20 seconds early because I just remembered I forgot which control it is to turn off the AA guns. So we're going to look at that. Yay for me. Let's see here. Pretty solid matchup here. There's no carriers. So I'm actually not even going to worry about that whole turning off the AA guns. I'll do that before the match ends. But I'll kind of try to give you guys some pointers and tips as we go along here. Generally speaking, I don't even know why they bothered to put armor-piercing rounds on destroyers. You're pretty much always going to shoot high explosives, so never change it away from that one. Your torpedoes... Jeez, zoom out. There we go. I always shoot narrow pretty much 99.9% of the time. Action stations. Holy cow, that was loud in my ears. I hope that wasn't that loud for you guys. Let me turn that down a little bit. Holy goodness. Okay. Let's see here. So, I know you can see my mouse here in the water. Follow it down. This is your engine boost. See that engine boost 1? Speed up. Then your smoke screen, which is awesome. Repair party, which is what you're used to with all your ships. So if you get caught on fire or somebody jacks you up, you got that there. So those are kind of the deal. Destroyers, your main goal, usually in most matches, to kind of get ahead of the fleet. Get out into the open seas and like way ahead of your fleet. Like, see all your big slow ships are back there behind you. You want to get into these capture points, get in between these islands where you can hide. Your job's going to be to do as much damage as you can and kind of support your team at the same time. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going. As you see, my torpedoes are about loaded. Sweet. One thing I do like about the Clemson is it's got basically double 3-barrel torpedo launchers on either side of the ship. So a lot of torpedoes you see from a lot of destroyers, they have one torpedo launcher in the center of the ship. And yeah, it might fire 4 or 5 torpedoes. Oh crap, I've already been detected. I don't like that. There's another destroyer, as you can see. I've been caught on fire. Oh no. That's okay. I'll exchange some shots with this guy until I get out of here. Alright, so behind the island, so now I'll use my repair party. That's another thing you need to keep in mind is don't use your repair party like...
Torpedoes, direct front.
Oh, okay, that guy was like, who's firing torpedoes right now? I'm not gonna hit one of those, am I? Oh, jeez. Alright, smoke screen.
Smoke generator started.
I'm gonna provide a smoke screen for my guys.
Reporting the position of a strategic target.
which should help them out. And there's probably a destroyer in here somewhere, so that's why I'm kind of like cautious, trying to keep my eyes open here.
Torpedoes, direct front. Smoke screen set. Capture that area.
Yep,
Torpedoes,
I've
direct
been
front.
detected! Direct front again, no. Somebody on my team's launching torpedoes everywhere, so that's why I keep seeing torpedo indicators. So I do not want to be detected. My surface detection range, as you guys can probably... Oh, great. Is my steering jammed? Yeah, great, awesome. Alright, repair party wasted just to get my freaking steering. Oh, jeez. Don't worry, I'm not going to hit it.
Problem solved, sir.
Let's see here.
Torpedoes to starboard. Torpedoes, direct front.
Holy cow, there's torpedoes everywhere. Okay, so back to what I was trying to say before. Obviously, you know, when you're a destroyer, you see, you do not want to get spotted. It'll pretty much ruin your day and your life. Smoke screens can save you. Engine boost is a good way to, like, I don't know, if you know you're gonna sneak up on somebody, you could do an engine boost to try and maybe get ahead of them here. Oh, jeez. Come on, come on. He's hiding on the island just like I am. Alright. Poke your head out, you little turd. I was really hoping he would come around. See, you're looking for people to do stuff like that. You want somebody to, to come around the island so you can torpedo the living crap out of them. I'm gonna go ahead and do an engine boost because this dude is obviously gonna be shooting the crap out of me in a second here. We'll go ahead and get some shots off because I know he was going to. Oh! Oh! Did I mention you're basically tissue paper when you're a destroyer?
Torpedoes astern. Torpedoes to port.
I'm probably gonna die. I'm probably gonna die. Poor me. Oh, yep, there we go. Dead. I did not get much time to talk. But I'm definitely not gonna hit him with one of those torpedoes. He's gonna see those coming. So maybe this is a very bad, match. Do I have another destroyer alive somewhere? Hey, here we go. Alright, so... oh, this guy's doing it right here. This is why I don't play destroyers. I am absolutely terrible. So, he sees a battleship who is literally parked. This dude is not moving at all. He's just chilling. Like, he looks like he just started moving just now. And this destroyer's like, oh, easy target. I'm going straight for him. And so would I. The dude's only 6 kilometers away. If you can sneak up right behind him, you can torpedo the living crap out of this Wyoming with no problem whatsoever. I mean, he's... depending on how many torpedoes he can shoot... 4 torpedoes... I don't think he'll kill him even if all 4 torpedoes... well, ooh, that was close. I mean, if all 4 torpedoes hit, the dude's health is low enough now. He just got hit by somebody that might actually kill this battleship.
All stations requesting fire on the designated target.
Come on, dude, you got this. See, I want this dude to be a solid destroyer captain, because he's going to show you how it's done right here. Or that guy. Oh, don't run into... oh, that's sad. He took a torpedo from his friend. Situational awareness with torpedoes, guys. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you on that one right there. And it looks like the other guy's going to get the kill on this one. Yeah. So, he took a torpedo unnecessarily from his friend because he just walked right into the path of torpedoes. But he was doing exactly what he should. He was looking for somebody who was too close to an island, had bad line of sight, so that he could pop out and just torpedo it real quick and then take him out, which is solid. It's a very solid play. You can see smoke screens everywhere. The other team's destroyers are like on point. They were smoke screening like crazy. They were getting out there and throwing torpedoes everywhere. A very good play on their part. And that's basically what you want to do. I mean, you want to be hiding in these islands. You want to be somewhere where they're not expecting you. You want to hang out and, you know, poke out right at the last second when they're not expecting it. You typically don't want to fire your deck guns unless you're engaging another destroyer. Obviously, you saw that did not end well for me. I got absolutely wrecked. Um, your engine speed boost, a lot of people use that at the beginning of the match so they can get out ahead a good deal. It's personal preference for whatever you want to do. Um, ooh, let's see if he gets this off here. I don't think he's going to get that off. I think it's too... Yeah, he was too far ahead there. Fast-moving ships like destroyers, they they typically can get away from your torpedoes. I wouldn't waste torpedoes on a destroyer unless you're in a situation and you just need to get something done. Typically, you want to go for cruisers or battleships. Of course, these guys are actually being really smart, and they're sticking on the edge of the map as far away from where the enemy destroyers are. So that's actually pretty good for them. Uh, Ooh, scouting planes. You want to watch out for those. They send those out, and those things will find you and spot you so that the ship can be very aware of where you're at and try to get away from you. Now, that destroyer that came out in the middle here, that was kind of a bad move. He went out in the open, and basically this battleship and cruiser were able to just wreck him because you're very small, you're tissue paper. Most battleships can one-shot you, even if they're using armor piercing with overpen. The battleship shells will probably go right through your ship, but they'll also go right through all the important parts of your ship because of how tiny your ship is. Everything matters. Anywhere a shell hits is going to be bad. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's check on our DDs over here, see what they're doing. Alright, so... Ooh, I don't know if they saw that battleship until just now. If I was this DD, I'd be kind of sad. He's probably going to turn around and go back this way towards that battleship, it'd be my guess, or he's going to hug the island and go back around the other way. But basically, these two battleships are in a pretty good spot. They're around these islands. You can fire some torpedoes from a relatively safe distance and hopefully get contact. I don't know where those torpedoes were going. I don't think he was locked onto this guy, or the battleship started turning right as he fired, one of the two. But yeah, you want to find a battleship that's by itself or off some island somewhere where you can sneak up on it. Um, oh, that's another thing too. Secondary guns on battleships, although this is lower tier, so it's not really going to be that good. But secondary guns on battleships can absolutely wreck you. And this battleship, he should have started turning a long time ago. He's gonna kill that destroyer, but he might die here with 4 torpedoes hitting him. Well, we won't know. He's gonna disappear, but he's basically out of the game now with all that destruction. So now this DD, he's doing kind of like what I said the other one messed up on before. He's getting himself too out in the open. If these battleships are probably a good 6 kilometers away from him, maybe 5. Yeah, they're about 5 kilometers out. So if he gets lucky, he would be able to hit them with his torpedoes, but I doubt it. It's so far away. They're moving the opposite direction. Really, he needs to turn back and focus on this battleship behind him. I mean, it's got almost no health. I call it out of the fight because of its health, but you know, so is this cruiser here. But we'll see. You know, they're all low health except the Kaiser. But see, now he's helpless. He's in the middle of the ocean. He's just trying to get some kills. It's not going to work well because now he's just getting absolutely pummeled. You know, I think he picked up a torpedo hit there, which is great, but now he's in a bad spot. He's taking lots of damage. I think he just had to pop his repair party there to get his ship moving again, but he's still, every shell that hits, you know, he's down to what? 272 health. Yeah, that's a terrible spot to be in. It's a decent idea to pop that smoke screen, but he also drove himself right out of it, which, you know, they can obviously still see him, so at this point, he's just getting lucky. Oh, there we go. That the other guy didn't hit him, so lesson learned, you can pop a giant smoke screen, but the smoke screen is behind you, so if you get out in the open, You pop the smoke screen as you're turning away from the enemy. Never turn towards them because then you're gonna be visible. That's just what's gonna happen to you. So looks like all the destroyers are dead. So I'll just kind of go over here where we can see some action happening a little bit. And see how this match turns out. So again, things to remember: hug the islands. A lot of destroyer captains that are really good will camp corners so that when a ship comes around the island, they can just immediately throw a whole bunch of torpedoes at it, and there's usually nothing those ships can do about it. They just take the torpedoes and usually die. Smoke screens, if you accidentally put yourself in a spot where you're out in the ocean, smoke screen as you turn away from the enemy will save your life because the smoke screen will conceal you, definitely. So just remember that. Turn away from the enemy and hit your smoke screen. Don't turn towards them like that guy did. Bad idea. Um, the other thing you want to remember is also... Oh, please tell me you're going to ram him. That would be awesome. I don't think he's going to be able to, but that'd be sweet. um, your bigger ships is what you want to target, mainly because they're slow-moving, big behemoths, basically. You know, there's nothing that they're going to be able to do to really take you down quick enough. Usually battleships will be able to get one volley out before they get absolutely wrecked by your torpedoes. So just kind of keep that in mind. Something else to consider too is cruisers and destroyers are super fast at turning and just fast in general. So you don't want to try to mess with them because they will be able to just kind of outspeed you. I guess is like a really dumb way of saying it, but they will just be able to run away from you, unlike other ships like battleships or carriers. They can just get away. So just keep that in mind. And if you ever are in a situation like, oh, hey, look, there's a little plane flying overhead. That's kind of cool. That's somebody's scout plane. Oh, they both blew up at the same time. That's pretty awesome. Oh, and the little scout plane's a little blurred out right here. We're just going to go back to the port for the rest of this one. So, don't get yourself out in the middle of the open. Try to keep yourself alive as long as possible. Make sure that you can be actually useful in the game. Unlike me, I was completely useless. So, don't do that. Make sure that you can get yourself in an advantageous position. Sometimes that requires speeding up ahead. Sometimes that requires camping on the side of an island. If there's a whole bunch of other destroyers and cruisers in the match, you become much less effective because they can get up and spot you and combat you a lot easier. So your ideal match as a destroyer is like you're the only destroyer on your team, there's only one on the other team, and it's like a whole bunch of battleships and a couple carriers, because then you can turn off your guns and you can just go stealth mode, and there's a whole bunch of big ships you can shoot at that aren't able to really stop you. So here we go. P. P is for disabling your AA and secondary guns. I recommend using that whenever you're in a match with carriers. Obviously, if there's no carriers, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I always disable them because your AA guns can give away your position. If you're in a smoke cloud and your AA guns start shooting at planes flying over you, then you might become visible in the smoke if someone's close enough. So just remember that. Also, you can change your targets with X. And of course, the middle mouse button to track your torpedoes and stuff after they fire, which is always kind of fun. So I promised I'd look that up for you. So remember, P turns off your secondary guns, and your AA helps keep you concealed. Pretty much destroyers are the only ships in which you're going to ever use that, because everywhere else there's really no point in turning off your secondary guns, because by the time your guns are shooting at the planes, they've already spotted you anyway, so you might as well shoot them down. Unless you're going into a smoke cloud and you're trying to hide and there's planes everywhere, then maybe turn them off. But other than that, destroyers are about the only people who turn their guns off. So remember, stealth is your goal. Your torpedo setup is important. Like I was saying before, I have torpedoes on both sides of the ship here, so that means I can fire on one side, turn, and fire on the other side. So I can get 12 torpedoes out, which is awesome. But on some of your other ships, let me go to the tech tree actually and find one. On some of the other ships out there, you're not going to be able to do that. And I need to find. Let me see if this is. Yeah, okay, so this is not a bad example. So this is a higher tier Japanese destroyer, but what I want you guys to notice is. I'm just double checking. Okay, so there's just these two torpedo batteries. So, like I was saying, they have more, so it's 4 and 4, so it's 8, but they're turrets, so they turn left or right. So they will fire out of either side of the ship, but once you fire those two turrets, that's it. You have to wait for that minute, minute and a half, whatever the reload is. I wonder if it says it on here. No, it doesn't. But you have to wait for that reload to catch in. So some of your destroyers are gonna be they're gonna play a little different. So like on the Clemson I was playing, it's great. I could shoot out of both sides, so I could go in, fire out of the right side or the starboard side of my ship, and then I could also turn to starboard hard, and then all of a sudden my port torpedo launchers are available. So if I miss my first two shots, now my second two are ready. Um, so I find that kind of handy. That's a feature that I like on ships that have torpedo launchers on each side. Um, I'm gonna look at the Shimakaze real quick here. So this is your tier 10 Shimakaze. This thing is a beast. You never want to see it because it can fire so many torpedoes at once. But I mean, if you look at these guys here, it's 5 per, 5, 10, 15 torpedoes coming at you at 62 knots out to 20 kilometers. But again, they're just turrets. So something as a destroyer captain that you gotta remember is people know when you're turning at them. So if I'm seeing a destroyer, and I'll go back to the Clemson so it's not black and white. If I'm a captain, ship captain, and I see this destroyer coming at me, and the stupid thing, come on, here we go. And I see the ship, and he's like this, and he's coming at me. And he's going full bore, he's just flying straight at me. I know he's going to torpedo me. That's going to happen. Not necessarily that they're going to hit, but he's going to shoot torpedoes at me. Now the key is when a destroyer starts to turn like this, and all of a sudden you're seeing the side of the ship, that's everyone's indication, oh crap, here come torpedoes. So just remember, as a destroyer captain, when you're going and you turn your ship, a lot of people are going to assume you're about to fire torpedoes, and usually they start making evasive maneuvers right then and there. So like if I'm in a battleship and I see this destroyer and all of a sudden he turns like this, I'm going to start turning basically towards that side of his ship. So if my ship is, if he's approaching my broadside and, my starboard side of my ship is facing him, and then I see him turn like this, I'm going to go hard to starboard as soon as I see him make that turn, and I'm going to drop my speed. So if I'm on full speed ahead, I'm going to click S twice, it'll drop my speed down 2 notches, and I'm going to go hard to starboard, and I'm going to turn towards him. And the reason I'm going to do that is because that's my best bet, is to make that hard immediate turn in order to try to avoid those torpedoes. So something that's nice about something like the Clemson is you can make that initial turn, fire your torpedoes, and if the captain is terrible and they don't notice you, or you got the drop on them, then they're not going to pay attention. They're going to get those torpedoes. They're going to die. So sweet, awesome, good. But if you notice them start to turn, you can immediately swing to the other side of your ship and fire your torpedoes again. Now, as a battleship captain, because I usually like to play battleships more than I do anything else except maybe cruisers, I can tell you nothing scares you more when then you see a ship like a Clemson that has torpedoes on both sides, and or you see one of those ships that has multiple torpedo turrets, but they only, like that first turn you make, they didn't fire all their torpedoes. Because you see them either turn to the other side or they maintain their turn and widen it, and then they go to fire again. Because now you've committed to that turn, and here come more torpedoes, which odds are, unless you're expecting that, or you get a little lucky and you reverse your turn at just the right time, you're probably going to take that second shot. So the reason I walk through that is because if you watch my Battleship 101 video, I talk about how to avoid torpedoes from destroyers and planes. Is always turn into them, and if you see them coming again, maybe reverse your turn or slow down or whatever you need to do to try to avoid that second shot to throw somebody off. So, as a destroyer captain, you need to keep that in mind, that that's what people are going to do if they're good to try to avoid you, is they're going to turn towards you to try to get so they can squeeze in between your shots. So that's another reason I always use the narrow shot, because yeah, if I use the wide shot, I have a way better chance of hitting them if they make a minor adjustment. But when you use that wide shot, the torpedo spread is so big, especially on a 3 torpedo tube, even up to a 5 torpedo tube. If you use the wide shot, the spread after about 4 or 5 kilometers is big enough for a battleship to squeeze through. So I always use the narrow because I'd rather miss my first shot and then hopefully connect with my second shot once I've gotten them to commit to some sort of evasive action, then hit them with like 2 or 3 torpedoes total after I just fired like 15 or 20 at them. So, that 3 to 6 torpedoes striking them immediately is just going to be devastating. And even if you miss those first 6 or 5 or 4, whatever the turret setup is, and you fire a second volley and you connect with all of those, that's going to be devastating. So just keep that in mind. You're driving towards the enemy ship. Let's say that stack is the enemy ship. Your little indicator will come up. You fire. Then maybe reverse your turn. Turn the other way and use the other side. Or if you have turrets, fire one, then turn so you avoid damage and wait to see what they do. If they commit to a certain turn, swing around with that second turret or the other side of your ship's launchers and fire again. That's going to be your best bet at catching people off guard. They're not going to be expecting you to do that. In most, especially random battles, not necessarily ranked, destroyer captains will go out, and if they have those turrets, they'll just fire away. They'll just fire all their turrets all at once, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, whatever they hit, and if they don't, they've got a minute or longer of reload time, and in that time, if they've done something silly, like put themselves out in the middle of the ocean, well, now you can just pummel them, because especially if you're a cruiser or a battleship. Oh, if you're a battleship and you have good secondary guns, you won't even have to shoot your main guns. Your secondary guns will just absolutely wreck a small destroyer that's not paying attention and gets too close to you. So also keep that in mind. Don't get too close to those big battleships, because their secondary guns will start popping off. And I've seen plenty of battleships just absolutely get destroyed by secondary guns. So, if you have torpedoes on both sides, fire one side, turn, wait to see what the ship does. If it evades one direction, then fire again to try to catch them in that turn. That's a good way to get some kills. If you only have turrets, hopefully you have more than 2, but if you only have 2, fire one turret and save the next one, because odds are that ship is going to turn and try to avoid those torpedoes. Now, there's a couple exceptions to that. If you're within 5 kilometers of the enemy ship, and let's just say, here's this destroyer, this is an island, and that ship is, where the other ship's at, and they're coming this way around this island, and you just fire all your torpedoes out this way, especially if you've just got the turrets, maybe not on both sides, that ship's not going to dodge those. They're going to come around this island, and they're going to see the torpedoes when they're like a kilometer or less away, and whoever's driving that ship is probably going to say a couple expletives, and he's going to take the hit, and he's going to be hoping that, if he's a battleship, he has a repair party or that little health boost, and that's somehow going to save him from dying, is by activating those right as they hit. So, that's probably the only situation where you wouldn't want to save torpedoes, because obviously you don't want to be less than 5 kilometers away from a battleship and not kill it. It'll turn around and wreck you. So, other than that, there's not really much more to discuss. Stay stealthy, use islands, try to remember that you're a piece of tissue paper. Be conservative with your torpedoes. You know, fire a shot and know that most ships are probably going to try to dodge that first shot, and many of them will be successful. Don't let that frustrate you, because you save your second volley, and that's how you're going to get them. So they'll dodge your first one 9 times out of 10, especially in higher tier matches or in ranked. And then unless you get the drop on them, and then that second tier, that second volley, that's where you're going to get them. So just think about that. Other than that, I'll see how comments go on this video. If you guys want a more in-depth one, I'll definitely dive into it. I'll probably put some more time in on a destroyer, try to get a little higher tier or something going on, just so I can kind of get out of the 5 and under set to show you guys some stuff. So thank you all for watching, and hopefully you learned something, and hopefully it makes you a better captain, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.